I am live. I'm going to go post the link to our class today. Copy. I'm going to go post it on our website. Website is jollyrogerukulele.com. And you should swing by there, pick up the sheet music and all of that good stuff. Paste. Today we are playing Adeste Fidelis. For getting us geared up and getting in the Christmas mindset. And then we're also going to be playing Ode to Joy and for release. So we got a little Beethoven on tap, a little Adeste Fidelis. I don't know. Figure out if I know how old that song is. Mid 17th century, if I remember right. So we'll go check that out. Let me download it here. I can talk about it more with more authority. Let me get this page up. Songs. Dun, dun, dun. We gotta download this. Download onto here. Download into Ukulele. Go back to the cloud. Adeste Fidelis. Ukulele PDF. Download. Okay. This little gadget that I have is a mixed blessing for sure. Okay. Get out of that. Get out of there. Go to storage. Patiently wait. Go down to there. Ukulele. Adeste Fidelis. 1604. That's mid 17th century. It's older than I thought. So they think this is King John IV of Portugal was involved in the writing of this. A little doubtful, probably, but whatever. And it's also known as What Child Is This? So let's see. Everybody's coming in here. Should we tweet this? Do we care? I don't think we care. Yeah. Well, maybe we will. Let's tweet it. Let's see what the picture looks like. Adeste Fidelis. Sure. Instrumental ukulele. Tweet. All right, fine. So we tweeted. All right, so close that box. Let's see. Linda's in. Hey, Linda. Hey, Lenny. Sound is good. Okay. Elizabeth is here. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Pauline. Hey, Barb. Valerie in. Hey, Jack. Jack and Barbara. Barbara has so far steadfastly resisted the urge to do baritone and harmonica as well. So, Barbara, keep it up. Keep the faith. Hey, Jerry, welcome in. Put my thing here. So it'll be there today, and then tomorrow I will make it go away. It's nice to get back to yesterday was crazy. My head was been in the wrong outer space thing for 2 days, and so it was nice to come in today, sit down, talk to you guys. And so we're in good shape for today. We'll go ahead and get started here. Jack said he's a chicken. Jack, don't type things like that when she's sitting there. Shh. She's not a chicken. She's got wisdom, Jack. Wisdom. All right. Let's get started. Back for more. Hey, Rita. Good to see you. Glad you made it in. It's Illinois, right, Rita? I got to make sure I got that right. Jacqueline is in. She's local here. Clay's in from California. Gary and Gary and Diane, they hang out in Washington. Evelyn hangs out in she's from south, way south, not the southest. We have a guy who comes into the level 1 class from Buenos Aires, so that's even further south than Evelyn. Vic's in from Eugene, yeah, from Illinois. That's what I thought. Right, okay, I'm gonna stick that in my noggin. And Carol is here. He's from western Colorado. And Sandy's in Northern Michigan. Lynn from Lynn's in from New Jersey, so be careful. She shank you. Isn't that funny? That's one state where we have this notion like if you're from New Jersey, you're probably going to cause some trouble. That in Texas, right? We always assume that people from Texas are trouble. All right. Lynn knows people. That's funny. Mary Ann's also from Michigan. All right. Let's see. And I don't think we have anybody from any of the states that haven't finished counting their ballots. So we're all good. We know what's going on. All right, Adeste Fidelis is one of our Christmas tunes today. Let's walk through it. Let's get everything in. I was going to get you First Noel as well, but honestly, after yesterday's mania, I sat down after class. I sat down. I said, I'm not doing anything. So I got zero done last night. But I'm back in the groove now. Had a wonderful day of just sitting here and talking to everybody, and I'm delighted you're here today. We are going to, I know people, she won't actually stab you. She just knows people who will. Let's play ukulele, okay? Adeste Fidelis, we're going to go down. This is not a hard song, guys, for you guys at this level, right? But if you are newer, we'll talk about how to continue to think that it's not that hard of a song. We play down through 24. We come all the way back. We play back down through 24 again. And then we play down the third time through. We skip 24, play 25 and 26. So it's just meant to be played 3 times through. These really old-fashioned songs are very typical in that way. There's very rarely any sort of fancy repeats and that sort of stuff in these old songs. New songs, we have lots of that, as you guys know. So let's talk about the general structure of the tune. Bum 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 bum. That's how the start of things starts. Pure straight melody. You're going to be working in the key of G, right? So if you are a melody player, probably there's going to be no ones. And if you look through there are no ones. Okay, and that's because here's why. When you're in the key of G, your Fs are all sharp. Okay, so this regular F here is very unlikely to be used when you're playing in the key of G. That's why any Fs that show up are going to be on 2. Okay, so that means if you're playing melody, you're not going to need to even be in first position. You just be in second position. Now you have your 2s covered, your 3s covered, and your 5s are all covered with your hand just in one position. And then you're like, okay, so I'm going to play in second position. Then I don't have to move my hand all around, right? Then I'm going to look for things that are going to create a tragedy because of that. And guess what? It's not there. It's just not there. Everything is just perfectly set up. Okay. Now, I think I've been calling this "What Child Is This?" This is "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." I don't know what song this is. This is called Adeste Fidelis, and I didn't give you the Latin version. How about that? Let's see. Hey, Linda, welcome in. Good to see you. Hey, Kat. All right, so let's play through the melody first. If you're a new player, this is how you should be playing. Don't worry about tough uke. There's no law requiring you to do tough uke. Do it when you're ready. Do it on songs that feel right, and make sure that you're okay with the fact that maybe you're not quite there yet. If you are there, then we start talking about how to increase the complexity of that. All right, until you are doing everything in full-blown finger style. And this is a song that might actually work on that. When I see 4/4, I'm thinking, I bet you I can pull this finger style one off of that. Okay. All right, so let's go into, I love it when people call me during class because everybody knows that I'm in class. Everybody I want to talk to is right here. It's on that list. All right, so let's do the melody, just the intro, please, from the top. Go. It sounds beautiful, right? Hey, Patty. Now, when you get to the next notes, remember, playing in third position, second position is going to make a whole lot of sense. So then you're not going to have to move at all. Okay, so let's grab that 3. Oops, I'm sorry. Got to turn the page. Okay, and then that little doodad there at the end is see if he actually changed it in the tough uke. But it's just there to fill up space, right? And then when this last time you come through, you're gonna get to the Lord, and then you're gonna go find your 10. Okay, so make sure you end on that 10. It's a kind of a cutesy thing to do. You may or may not want to do that when you present this to somebody. Is put that the 10. I like to put on the 10s because they're funny, but this is kind of a serious song. Now, why would you ever play just melody? Most of the time when you play straight melody, there's two things you're doing. One, teaching yourself the song, making sure you know how the melody's flowing, making sure that it makes sense in your head. Then the second thing would be you play melody a lot of times when you have a partner. And so you would have one person playing melody and one person playing chords, and you can create a whole lot of exciting music that way, and nobody has to work quite as hard. And so there's that. So don't think that playing melody is nothing. It's super important that you are good. In fact, the last 6 weeks in the online orchestra on Monday nights, that's what we did. Hey, how fast and how bulletproof can you get your in straight line melody playing? Because we have this tendency. Oh, I gotta play the tough stuff. I gotta play the hard part. I gotta keep moving up. And I don't think so. I think if you get where you can play melody in your sleep, perfect tones that rise and fall with the dramatic action going on in the music, I think that's incredibly important. And remember, most instruments, that's all they can do is melody. They cannot do both harmony and melody at the same time. Most instruments, okay, the ones we like to play can do both, but the all of the orchestra instruments, all of them, with the exception of the piano, which isn't really an orchestra instrument, and the harp, all of them are one note at a time. So that says something about the importance of this. With violin, you can actually get two notes out if you need to, but that's called fiddle, and then that's the guy with the beard, right? All right, now you know how the melody goes. Let's talk about chords and melody at the same time. So if I'm at measure 4 and I've got my pickup 3, I'm going to grab that G chord. Okay, beautiful, and I'm going to play 3 strings. Okay, and make sure you do this rest stroke. Okay, because if you are trying to hit that last string and not doing a rest stroke, you're going to goof it up. Okay, thumb actually sits on there. Then 2, 3. You're already holding them down. Switch to your D chord, strum. You're already holding the 2 down. Okay, go back to your G chord. Lift up your middle finger, put it back, add your pinky, and then get rid of your pinky, and then a D chord. Slide your ring finger forward to get the 3. While that's playing, without lifting that up, you're getting your index finger down to get your E minor chord on, so that it's one of these routines. Okay, so you're twisting around your ring finger, adding your index finger, and then splitting them out to get 0, 4, 3. That's your E minor. And then slide back to get the 2. D chord. Ring finger forward. Open. Ring finger on that 2. And then 2, 2, 2. Again, D chord. Slide back. Just use your middle finger to get the 1. Slide it back up. Ring finger on the 2, open. Okay, measure 13. Those of you guys that have the proper size ukulele, tenor size for most of you, G chord with your pinky is super easy for me to do on soprano, but I'm all crunched down in other types of chords. But on tenor, this is a little bit of a reach, right? So you do want to be able to do it. Your hand will do it. It just takes a little bit of talking. Doing your exercises, and if you haven't been here for these exercises, make sure this, and this are your off instrument exercises. You really got to get this pinky where it will live its own life on its own without hanging out with the ring finger all the time in order to make this chord successful. Then you have Mr. Spock. Remember in the 70s we had to learn that really, really hard. Okay, this was not too bad, and this one's not too bad. Now make sure you're never pushing your fingers against things. Like don't push them up against a wall or bending them and cracking them. Don't do any of that. Okay, these are very valuable for you as a ukulele player, and so treat them with the respect they deserve. Okay, so G chord with your pinky, measure 13. Let's go. Pull your pinky back to get the 3. Lift your pinky up. And then you're going to grab index finger for the A minor and your ring finger for the 3. And back to your G chord. And then a D chord. Roll your index down. Or I'm sorry, roll your ring finger down to get that 2. And then switch out to an E minor. Lift up your index. Roll to your D chord. Open. And then the 2 you're already holding down. Grab your ring finger for that 3. Okay, you can tell you got a whole lot of motion going on in this chord wise. The melody is pretty basic, but the chords are happening all over the place. Finally at 17 it settles down just a little bit. Okay, grab your G chord, 3 strings, slide back the 3, push it back up, open on the first string, 3 strings, hit the 2, put your middle finger back down, G chord, lift your middle finger up, put your middle finger back down. Put your pinky down. And then a G chord. And then a D chord. Roll your ring finger down. Push it forward to the 3. Grab the 2 with your index finger. Then a G chord. Then a D chord. Then an E minor, 3 strings. And then a D chord. Then a G chord, 3 strings. Pinky to get the 3. And then a G chord, 2D, open D7, ring finger, and then a G chord. Okay, and those 2 twos are just bum, 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 and then 3. Hey, Corey, welcome in. Corey's on my fight list. Then there's a 3. And then we'd go right back and play the song 2 more times. Okay, so it's too many times to play the song, but that's all of the verses. And by the way, it's originally in Latin. So those of you who who've kept your Latin up since prep school, I'd do the Latin version. And then the last time you come through, don't play 24. You go into 25, and you got a nice ending for it here. G chord, 2, 3, 2. And then, of course, remember, there's one of these you got to remember. You got a bar chord on 7, pinky finger on 10. Okay? 10. Soprano. Okay? Okay. This is why you don't want, if you have regular hands, you don't want to be playing a soprano. As is really cramped up to get that chord. And it's going to come up as an instrumental player, you're going to be playing those. So if you have normal, we don't use the word normal describing bodies anymore, but if you have adult sized hands, you want a tenor ukulele. And so if you're playing a guy like this, it's just too small for you. Cindy says, I kind of like the 023 for the last chord as a more somber ending. Oh yeah, so you could do, absolutely. So let's say I've given the sort of the cartoon version ending of this, right? Okay. But you could just do a regular G chord as well. Okay. Just a little bit more holy. Okay, so let's play through it one time. Make sure that we've got all that. Then we're going to go back through and we're going to talk about increasing the complexity. Okay, so let's start. Hey, Pauline, welcome back. Let's go from the top and just one time through. Ignore that first inning. We'll play the second inning. We'll try Cindy's idea of putting just a nice soft regular G chord on there instead of the fancy G chord. Okay, from the top, one time through. 1, 2, 3. That's too slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 3. second ending. That's the soft ending. That's Cindy's suggestion. Or we could play what's written. Okay, either of those is perfectly acceptable. I like a little showbiz ending on my songs. Okay, so that's what we're doing on Friday. You would plan on playing that through. I don't know if we'll play it all 3 times. It's a lot for 3 times. But the nice part is, here's what's kind of fun. This piece of music, it's just chords and chords and chords, and they're all chords you know, right? There's nothing crazy in here, no weirdo, D minors with an 8 on them or any of that stuff like we deal with all of the time in more modern music. What's nice is it all makes the sense and fits together. However, you are working pretty hard because you got a lot of chord changes. Many places you have a chord on for 2 beats, and in measure 21, you have 5 chords in 5 beats. Dun, 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 dun. Right? So there's a lot going on there. And I would say, in terms of, luckily the song's meant to be played slow, but in terms of just practice, see how fast you can get it. Oh, come, let us adore him, as the Lord, right? And so be thinking about, in terms of your instrumental attack, here's an opportunity if you are, in that level where you're like, okay, I got tough uke. I can totally do this. This is exciting. I'm going to be a solo ukulele player. I'm going to travel the world. People are going to adore me. I'm going to be meeting with, I'm going to go to ukulele festivals, and tens of people are going to listen to me perform there. And I'm going to get a Twitter site, and I'm going to get an EP, and I'm going to go get a stylist and make myself look like a weirdo, I guess, and maybe that's in your process, and if you're there, we want to be able to take this and say, all right, I want to play things super fast, I want to play things soft and beautiful and slow, and all in different ways, and be thinking about, I can do this. Okay, can I do it fast? Can I do it slow? Can I do it beautiful? Those are the things you're thinking about. Hey, Joyce, welcome in. Speaking of traveling musicians, and who else walked in here? Oh, hey, Critter. Good to see you. Any principle to follow for creating an intro at the beginning? Yes. Okay. How do you create intros? That's a fascinating thing. So in my early days, how I made an intro was I would play the whole song through, and then I'd play the whole song through again the second time. That's not how you do intros. Intros, look for the ending of the song. You go right to the ending, okay? And so if I am looking for this particular song, I don't know what my intro, I know the song goes, oh, come, all ye faithful. I know that because I grew up in the one of those wacko, and I don't mean this derogatory. This really was a wacko right-wing church that my mom raised me in, and there's stuff that went on. I'm like, this is weird. So that's the way I was raised, and so I know all these Christmas tunes. Right? This was serious business at that church. Oh, come, all ye faithful. We never really much pay attention to intros because that's the instrumentalist job. Whatever, they're doing whatever. And then we're just waiting for our opportunity. And then we had the lady who plays the piano, and this is a little, it wasn't really a sanctuary, it was sort of a big community room type thing. Playing the piano, we did every single verse. If it was in the book, you did all 7 verses and all this stuff. And so we never really gave any thought to intro, and in fact, in most church hymnals, they don't have intros there either. They're waiting. The organist takes care of that, and everybody's reading their book, waiting for their opportunity to jump in, right? So we don't have a ton of experience with thinking about intros, but as an instrumental ukulele player, you're going to be thinking about those. So you go to the end of the song. I think Joyce's brass exactly about right what she's saying. Go to the end of the song. Find out how the song's going to end. And in this song, you go clear down to 21, and the pickup to 21 is, oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. There's your intro right there. It's just waiting for you at the end of the song. What other song did I put up the other day? Silent Night. When I was like, all right, I got to put an intro on Silent Night. Guess what I did? I went straight to the end of the song and said, okay, sleep in heavenly peace. And what I ended up with was, bum, 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 right? That's my intro. Okay, so that's how you do intros, is look at the end of the song. It's not the only way, but it's certainly almost in all cases a guaranteed way that it's going to work. So you go to the end of the song. Oh, da 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 dum da dum 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 da dum, and then now you can start the song. Oh, come all ye faithful, and then I will bet, if anything, that that's exactly what you have here. Um, da 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. That's the ending, right? But I just take the ending, talking, and probably 4 measures is enough. 2 to 4 measures is plenty for an intro. I remember one time when we were working with Harmony Chorale here in Denver, and we were going to have um, 80 of them and 100 of us, and it was going to be a big deal. And it turned out we could never quite get all the orchestra players and all the singers together at the same time, so the numbers never worked out. But we had quite a few at the ukulele concert, and we had one song where we wanted the entire instrumental thing to go first and then follow in with the singers. Well, we had basically the whole entire song, and so the singers were standing there like, I sure wish it was something I could be doing right now, and that's not ideal for anybody, right? So when, especially in an ensemble situation, have a relatively short intro, let people know what we're about to sing, and then bring the whole thing together. The other reason to have a relatively short intro is a lot of that is to help the singers know where their vocal is, right? I go to see the St. Martin's Chamber Choir here in town, and occasionally, not often, but occasionally they will be starting a song and going straight into vocals right off the bat, and an MB will bring a little tuning fork, and you can see her kind of tap it and listen, and then she will sing the note that they're going to start with, woo, and then they start right on that note. So they don't have an intro, and they need something to kind of help them. The intro there does a really great job of da 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 dum da da dum dum da dum, oh come, and then the singers' voices can come in at the right pitch. And as you guys know, I am far from a singing expert, but I do know the basics, right? And we want to give them a fighting chance of hitting the right tone right off the bat. If they get the first tone right, the rest is duck soup. They're going to be just fine. By the way, I've been watching Great British Bake Off a lot, and I learned the phrase "Bob's your uncle." That means it's easy, and so I'm going to start using the phrase "Bob's your uncle." And so I didn't know that was a thing. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully that gives you the sense of how to write the intro. Now we're going to get into talking about how to make this more complex here next. Let's see. I saw Joyce walk in. Question is, where does the concert size fit in? Concerts in between tenor and soprano. For most adults, tenor is the correct answer. But the times I fit you with a smaller ukulele concert is if you have short fingers. I will fit you with a concert, and I do women more so than men. Not to be sexist, but typically they might have a little bit smaller hands. So women I will tend to fit with concerts. But I put your hand up against mine. It's not uncommon for me to have men with shorter fingers or women with longer fingers, right? So, but basically, my hand size is a tenor size, and if your fingers are shorter than mine, I might look at giving you a concert. And I've had a few, just about 3 grown adults. I think Cheryl is probably tuned in here. She doesn't log in, but she has teeny tiny hands, right? And so I fit her with a soprano. But it's not very typical for grown adults to have hands so small that they need a soprano. I play a soprano a lot here because it fits into the screen better, but it's not at all my normal ukulele in terms of if I'm going to play for real, I'm going to go grab a tenor. So concert is not, I think there's this notion out there that sopranos are bad, concerts are okay, tenors are good. That's not it at all. It's what fits your hands, and then what makes the difference in quality is how the types of woods they're built out of and that sort of thing. I need to work on that pivot. We'll work on that pivot here right now. Judy says, better late. Hey, Judy. Yeah, better late than never. What else we got going on? Red says, concert. You just can't reach the tenor. Yeah, and so that chord right there, that G chord with the pinky, a lot of times if you have shorter fingers, that's going to be a real struggle. So that's when you would get a concert size. Yeah, and don't think I'm bad talking concerts. It's just that most adults fit tenor. Most adults, okay, but it's not uncommon for if you have shorter fingers to go in concert. Definitely the tried and true method. play the last "O Come" line as an intro. Yeah, just as So see, Joyce knows stuff. Okay, Cindy, in the Wacko church I grew up in, this was often processional, so the intro helped to get us. Oh yeah, okay. So there's another reason, right? Here's a little intro. It's sort of like the wedding march. Bum 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 bum, bum, and you know what's about to happen next. Get everybody ready. We're all on the same page. Okay, here comes the bride. Dun, 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 dun. Right? So that's what the intros do, right? Get everybody in the right mindset. In John Lennon's Imagine. Do 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 do. Oh, John Lennon's Imagine. Yay! The crowd goes wild. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. So let's see. Huge. Arthritis plays a role in what you do, guys, right? So yeah. Favor of the concert, I have small hands. Yeah, okay. So we're talking ukulele sizes. Find the size that fits your hand, I guess. But again, the foundation is most adults should be playing this. Short fingers, arthritis. I didn't mention that one. Let's get back to playing Adeste Fidelis. All right, so we have the intro. We have the tough uke figured out. We know the chords. We are smart musicians thinking about our own level. If you're a new player, you probably know these chords, probably, right? And you're thinking, I could sing this. Oh, come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. That's how it gets played, right? That's how 90% of ukulele players play. Delightful way to go about it. You guys are here to learn that next level stuff. Well, okay, so I know my chords. I'm not going to do it that way. I want to play the melody. Right? And so you do that. And then you start saying, all right, Gary always plays tough uke. It sounds pretty nice. I think I'll give it a try. And so you get where you can do that. Your final step is to bring your heart and soul and your work ethic to the piece of music and decide what else can I do with this? And your first thought should always be arpeggios. Okay, let me show you how that works. Okay, if you take a song like this, that the whole thing makes sense, it's easy to get along with. I love this piece of music. I want to put some time in it. I'm going to take this to church on Sunday, and I'm going to show them what ukulele is all about. Or my family, we always sing this, or whatever the song is. Doesn't have to be this. You want to be thinking about eighth notes, okay? Every single eighth note should have something going on in it. So if I start this off, not the pickup note. Oh, now I'm going to use my tough uke here. Come. Now I have 3 eighth notes that are not showing up on the paper, right? I've got that's a half note, so it's worth 4 eighth notes total. That first strum is an eighth note, and then I got 3 more that follow that. Okay, I'm just putting in extra notes. Okay, as long as I'm holding the chord, I can put in any note, I can hit any string, it'll sound fine. Okay, and then I got a problem, right? Because I've playing too fast to get the 2 and 3 in. The other problem I'm running into off the bat is, oh my gosh, that 2 is the lowest note. It's hard to find notes lower than the melody note there. If I hit my top string, which is a high G, it's going to come in higher. Not a great choice. So already I'm thinking, well, eighth notes may be too much. Let me just do a quarter note. Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant, oh, come, all ye citizens of Bethlehem. Okay, so I'm thinking with this song, eighth notes is probably going to be a lot. So that's my first thought is always, I'm going to add in a ton of eighth notes, but I don't know, this feels too busy for this song. So I'm going to be filling in every single quarter note, something's going to be happening. If it's not written on the paper, I have to come up with that on my own, improvising, okay? And I get questions like this in guitar more than in ukulele, but the process is the same. If I'm a jazz musician sitting down at Dazzle here, or I am a brand new player starting to figure out how to decorate my music, I'm thinking the same exact thought. If I'm holding whatever chord, I can hit anything on this instrument and it's going to sound fine. And if I'm a jazz musician, I'm going to start messing around with that a little bit to see if I can get something even cooler to happen. But for the most part, if you're holding the chord, you can hit any other note and it's going to sound fine. I would tend to go with lower notes to fill in rather than higher notes, because if you go with higher notes, they tend to cause the melody to get a little confused. So let's go through this. Every half note you see, every half note, you're going to add in another note. Okay, so you're going to add in another quarter note right after that. Just like at measure 12, look down at measure 12, I have a D chord, Bethlehem, and then I added in 3 extra quarter notes. I wrote them out there because I just am filling in that whole note with some stuff so that my audience is not like, okay, we got to wait 4 beats before we start singing again. So as we go through this, know your level. Okay, if you are a new player, you're playing the melody. If you've been around a little while, you're playing tough uke. If you've been around even longer, every single time you see a half note, I want you to put in a chordal note after that half note, okay, to fill it in. Okay, we're still all right. So from the top, from the pickup to 5. 1, 2, 3. Repeat. Okay, so what the message I'm trying to send here, guys, is with Christmas music, this is a perfect opportunity to start doing fills. Those of you guys that are ready for it. So if you're a tough uker, things, yep, I totally get tough uke. No problem. Got it figured out. Going to be doing it. Glad you're writing it out for us, Gary. But totally can do that. Then you're thinking, all right, now I want to start adding in decoration. Okay, and that's what will separate your arrangements from my arrangements, from James Hill's arrangements, Jake Shimabukuro. All of these people are working on the same thing. This is the song. Here's how the melody goes. Here are the chords. What can I do to make it fancier? They're all professionals work on that same level. And so if I'm taking Silent Night and I'm going to be adding in some extra decoration, I'm going to be thinking, first I'm thinking eighth note. The Silent Night, kind of a slow, quiet song. Might not want to add in something every single eighth note, feel too really busy. But at least here you get your first, for some of you, the first time you're really thinking about, how do I go about taking what's on the paper and then adding to it, or coming up with yet another way of playing the music. And I think for me, it's thinking about, if I'm going to hold the chord, I've got the opportunity to hit all these other chords. I noticed pretty consistently I was hitting that third string because the music itself isn't going way up the neck. It's staying down here pretty low. So I don't want to get so I don't want to be adding in chordal notes way up the fretboard because they start to confuse the melody, but I can keep adding them in underneath there and they sound pretty nice. That's why a lot of times on my arrangements, you'll see they tend to go further up the neck and tend not to hang around here too much, because I want to have some notes underneath the main melody to add in decoration. And so a lot of times when I'm choosing a key to present the song in, I'm thinking about, well, I can either have everything played down here, or I could play up a little bit higher up on the fretboard, and that gives me an opportunity to add a decoration in on these lower notes that I'm not going to be using for melody. And So that's what we're working on there. I think that's a little bit more in depth than I wanted to get into on this song, but at least it'll get those of you guys that are sort of at that higher level to be thinking about, all right, this is the recipe. Now I got to add in some salt and some basil and some cumin. I don't know. I'm picking random words I've heard from the spice rack. And Melissa, I don't know if she's here today. Her spice rack is in alphabetical order, she told me. But you're going to be adding in your own flavoring, right, to turn it into something really fancy. And that's what we want to do. All right, let's go grab Silent Night and let's just talk about that real quick. So we should use lower notes. Yes. When you are adding in decoration, the only it's not really a rule, depends on how you play, but generally speaking, and think about this on a piano, melodies up here, that's what your ear hears, the lion sleeps tonight, right? And over here, you're going Liberace, right? You can, as long as you got the chord, you can put in all sorts of decorative notes because it's lower, and your ear will always hear the highest pitch note. It wants that to be the melody. It thinks that that's the melody. So if you start putting in a bunch of high notes over here, it starts to confuse what the main melody is here. If you're skillful, you can do it, okay? And in like classical guitar, it's not uncommon to put the melody on the thumb and put in the decoration up here. So, but then you really have to be mindful to play this thumb stuff louder, right? And so it's very common to, when you're thinking about, mostly as a improviser and somebody who's just adding in some color into the piece of music, you probably want to keep your decorative notes lower in pitch than the melody. Otherwise, it can get confusing. Okay, so yeah, so you should be thinking about lower notes. Let's go grab Silent Night and just see if we can put any of that to work here. I updated my thing here. I can't find anything anymore. Silent Night. That should be near Silver Bells, right? Silent Night. Okay, so with Silent Night, again, pretty slow song. You got 3 beats per measure, and we'll run through it very quickly. But think about every half note you see. Every time you see a half note, add in something after it. Now, I've already done it on some of these, so you're fine. But measure 12, you got an opportunity to add a note in there. Measures 11, for example, I give you some pretty basic stuff. Right? Well, you don't have to do those. Maybe try some different ones. Probably those will work, though. Do we have any other places where you can add? Measures 22 and 23. Put some stuff in there. Okay. Unfortunately, on Silent Night, I already added most of it in for you. But the idea, you'll see, now that you're aware of these decorative notes, you'll be like, oh, I'm just holding the chord and hitting some other strings, and it sounds better. Okay, so let's give it a try. From Silent Night, from the top, 1, 2, 3. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm not going to finish the whole song, but the idea there was you saw a couple places where you have a half note or a dotted half note and there's nothing going on afterwards. Just grab some notes out of the chord. You're already holding the chord. That's another beauty of playing this style that we teach here. You're already holding the chord. You don't need to do anything with your left hand. Just add in some stuff, and you'll get better at it. Honestly, the first few times you do it, you're like, that didn't help at all. But after a while, you're like, oh, I got this. It makes a lot of sense. Then you have the whole enchilada. You know how to play melody. You know how to play chords. You know how to put them together. You know how to play arpeggios and pull other notes out of the chord. And all of a sudden, there's no point in any song where you're ever bored hanging around waiting for something to happen. You're busy creating more music in these dead spaces. Look at measures 26 and 27. I think that's the best example. And it's one of those challenges with ukulele. So you come in, sleep in heavenly peace, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's what's going on in the melody, right? Peace. And then that's it. The singer, of course, you got somebody who knows what they're doing. They're going to pull that through for 6 beats. We'll be fine. It'll sound great. But as an instrumentalist, you don't know what to do there. So I added in, oh, sleep in heavenly peace, oh, 3, oh, 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 just to fill up space. Okay. You notice down in the tough uke, the problem here is my main note is this 0. That's the lowest note on the ukulele. And now, in order to fill, I have to take this high G string, which is higher than the melody, and I hit that, and that can confuse the melody. Sleep in heavenly peace. That's not the right note. So when I'm playing that, I got to make sure that I'm really hitting this C string hard enough that people are not confused. Right? So I will tend to hit this one pretty lightly and fix this. If you have a low G ukulele, you don't have that problem. If you have a baritone, you don't have that problem because this note's already lower. This fourth string's already lower. But with high G, it's actually kind of fun because you're like, oh gosh, I got to deal with that situation, and getting your technique together where the 3, where the C is still standing out above its higher accompaniment note, and I think it will sound pretty interesting. And then that's what's going on in measure 26 and 27. Hold the C chord, just filling in with those extra notes. It will make you sound more professional, make you sound nicer. As we get into Christmas music, all of you guys have to decide, hey, what level am I playing at? Am I brand new to ukulele? No, you're not thinking about it. You're thinking, I want to just play the melody. When I taught my little goddaughter, she was 6 or 7 at the time I got her ukulele. By the time we left the house that night, she had picked out First Noel and Silent Night and all this stuff. I wanted to punch her in the face because she'd hear the song and talk her fingers into playing those things, just straight melody. Then of course, over time we added in chords, and then over time we then added in arpeggio picking. And then when you bring all that together, well, then, she ends up being a better player than me because, she's young and smart and I'm old and mean. And the whole thing turns into a really legitimate way to play ukulele. If you go pick any of your favorite ukulele players that are instrumentalists and go watch what they're doing. Chord, melody, arpeggios, all at the same time. They're all doing the same thing. There's nothing else. Go to any jazz bar and watch the guitarist. That's exactly what he's doing. Using really weird chords, and then when they improvise, a lot of times, especially electric guitar players, they'll add in scales, right? And they're going to be, but that's really just a fancy version of arpeggios. So it's actually a less fancy version than arpeggios in my mind. So that's what's going on, and so there's nothing else that you can learn. Everything else is on you. So go get out of here. I'll see you later. All right, guys. I held you over a little bit longer than I wanted to. Tomorrow, I'm going to get what's it called? First Noel posted, and I got a couple others that I should be able to post fairly easily. But we're going to be playing this Christmas music for a while, and so I'd like you to be experimenting with all of this stuff. Remember, you don't need to sound beautiful when you're practicing. You want to get to the point where you are sounding terrible most of the time in practice, so that you're finding out new things that work and things that don't work. So that's the end of that. Let's make sure I answered everybody's questions or thoughts. Should we use a lower note? Interesting. It is still clumsy, but I played an extra note after the dotted quarter note too. Yeah, little, and you can even you'll get a dotted quarter note, you put it in there. Well, now all of a sudden you have an eighth note to get to that next thing. So yeah, kind of cool when you have an uneven rhythm like that. You can actually fit those in as well. Very cool. Great lesson learning about decorative notes. Yeah, decorative notes and intros. I didn't mean to talk about intros, but that's Cindy. She's always talking to Cindy stuff. But yeah, the decorative notes is really what I like to talk about when we get to Christmas, because it's Christmas, right? Put a little sparkly on everything, and so that's what we're doing. I like working on 1 or 2 pieces in depth. You bet. Thanks, Diane. Jennifer, bye for now. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day, right? Learned a lot today, Gary. Thanks, Kat. Good to see you. Cindy, All right, great tips. Well, they're iffy tips. All right. Thanks, Pauline. Good to see you, Lindy. You bet. Have a wonderful. Yeah, I like Christmas music. I make fun of Beatles music and Christmas music. And guess what I like doing? Okay. Patricia, useful. Okay, cool. We'll work on that. I'll see. How about I'll get you guys another opportunity to try this stuff. Rita, good to see you. Glad you're making it in. Thanks for being here, Lynn. Oh, Lynn, whatever you got going, Lynn, you need to cancel it. You can't be late to class. Hey, Clay, have a great day. Lanny, good to see you, bud. Sandy, awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. See you tomorrow. Yep. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. Joyce, thanks for everything. Linda, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Jackie, good to see you. And Kari, we're keep moving forward, right, Kari? Thank you for everything, guys. I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a great night.